After news broke that Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence had been raided by the FBI over the fact that he had taken home classified documents from the White House, which breaks certain laws, a bunch of right-wingers, including members of the press, members of Congress, came out and started demanding all sorts of things, specific actions like civil war in some cases and defunding the intelligence community in other cases. So first, the right wing tried to appeal to voters with some concerns about what this will mean for average Americans, right? Oh, if they could do this to Trump, imagine what they can do to you. You know, like indiscriminately spy on you with a government agency like the NSA. Wouldn't that be so terrible? I mean, it's a joke, as we know. Ordinary Americans are surveilled, or ordinary Americans have to deal with a police state, and that's just been our reality for the longest time. And there's been a two-tier justice system where the elite, the powerful, get to commit crimes with absolutely no consequences and no real investigation. Now, I want to read a few quotes from various right-wing posters online because they are calling for a civil war. One person says, this is how you light the match to a civil war. One user on Twitter wrote in response to the news, similar rhetoric was shared in right-wing channels on Telegram. Civil war is coming to America. There won't be any more elections, one member said. But they go further. A total war on dissidents is about to unfold, not behind closed doors, but blatantly in public. Another member wrote in a different far-right channel. Attacks on Alex Jones, Trump, and Patriot Day defenders are only setting the precedent for the future of us as the only opposition to the deep state. And the top comment on the main thread about the raid on Tuesday morning was lock and load. Again, that was the top post, lock and load. In the same thread, another user wrote, it certainly feels like they're treating it as a hot civil war. When this is all said and done, the people responsible for these tyrannical actions need to be hanged, the poster wrote. And QAnon, they're having a little difficulty figuring out where they stand on this. They're against the raid, but the raid might actually be intentionally done by the right wing, and it could be a good thing. So the QAnon channels, there were some conflicting responses with some conspiracy believers calling for armed responses, and others suggesting the FBI was all part of the plan. A prominent QAnon influencer known as QAnon John is urging followers not to call for civil war, as this, the influencer said, is what the deep state wants them to do.
Aha. Is it the cup in front of you? Okay, so look, guys, there's two elements here. One is the lunacy, of course, and this is not just rando posters. There's right-wing media, is dozens and dozens of comments from all the hosts calling for violence and hyperbolic, ridiculous statements like Mark Levine saying, this is the worst attack on this republic in modern history. Okay, note that no one knows what's in the warrant. Note Trump has the warrant, could tell us what's in it, but is choosing not to, okay? But how would any of you know why they raided the compound, his residence at Mar-a-Lago, and what they were looking for, and whether he's guilty or innocent? So if they raided, again, I'll use someone on my side. If they raided Bernie's offices, I wouldn't be like, he is definitely innocent. How do I know? I don't know what's in the warrant. I don't know what they're looking for. I'd be like, whoa, that's weird. I didn't expect that. I can't wait to see what it's about. But the right wing, no, immediately, conspiracies. And the second component, and this is the dangerous part, violent conspiracies. And it's time for lock and load, it's time for civil war, all these things. And by the way, it's just accepted as normal. If left wingers did that, I'm not at all exaggerating, they would be investigated, they would be deplatformed for sure, calling for violence, and they would likely be arrested. The right wing says it like on a nuclear level. Thousands and thousands of them. Nobody ever does anything about it. They're like, oh yeah, they're looking to murder us. Oh, duly noted, let's move on.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, has there been some political issue where the right wing hasn't said that they want civil war? That is what they've been saying for several years now, over and over again. They say it openly, transparently. It's just abundantly clear that they're waiting for anything to spark political violence. And they've carried out political violence. We've seen so many examples of it already when it comes to lone mass shooters who are motivated by crazy right-wing conspiracy theories like white replacement theory, or people who are motivated by their own hatred for people of color, whether it's Dylan Roof or the mass shooter in El Paso, Texas, who hates immigrants. I mean, the list goes on and on. They've already carried out their domestic political terrorism in this country, and they just keep telling us that they're gonna do more of it. So yeah, it's right there, it's right in front of us. But moving on, I also want to talk about some of the other threats that we've seen from right-wingers, namely from individuals like Steven Crowder. This is very scary. Let's watch.
Any Republican right now in office or running for office who does not actively champion the defunding, the dismantling of our intelligence agencies, I will not vote for. Don't care who it is. Are you listening, Ted Cruz? Are you listening, DeSantis? Are you listening, Rubio? Are you listening, no?
Scary. Very, very scary from Steven Crowder. So he's calling for defunding the FBI. He's not the only one. You also have people like Marjorie Greene saying defund the FBI. Candace Owens, the FBI must be legally and formally dissolved. What happened to President Trump is positively stunning and a mark of unchecked government power. It would be unchecked if this was some sort of warrantless raid, but it was signed by a federal judge. And in order to be signed by a federal judge, you need to prove that there is probable cause of a crime committed. So unchecked is strong language, or I think better put, inaccurate language in this tweet. I no longer recognize the country I live in, left or right. We must all come together to fight this evil. And you also have Marco Rubio, who says using government power to persecute political opponents is something we have seen many times from third world Marxist dictatorships, but never before in America. Marco Rubio letting the American people know that he is unaware of this nation's history. Just to give you two quick examples, I mean, there's COINTELPRO in the 1970s, where the FBI ran a program actually from 1956 to 1971 that consisted of covert and illegal operations by the FBI aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting political organizations in America. They went after the Communist Party of America, feminist organizations, civil rights groups, the Black Power movement, environmentalist, animal rights groups, and the American Indian movement. So it seems like, yeah, there is precedent in this nation's history for that type of, political persecution.
Yeah. So it's funny that you've got centuries of police abusing African Americans, and then a movement rises out of that I think is bad framing, but they say defund the police, okay? And the right wing goes, no, Blue Lives Matter, okay? We don't care how many innocent black men who are unarmed were shot by cops, killed by cops. We don't care how much abuse has happened. We don't care about any of it. Support the police. And then the police raid their beloved, dear leaders' home to look for criminality based on a legal warrant. They're like, that's it, defund the police, defund the FBI, defund all law enforcement. What happened? No, oh, I get it. You didn't want rule of law. You just thought the police are your thugs, your security guards, and you just wanted them to oppress others. And the minute they actually enforce the law evenly, you hate them. Like, well, I didn't sign up for this. The cops are supposed to be my thugs. They're not supposed to give equality and justice and just apply the law. It's so obvious. And they're all like, oh, I got this theory, I got that theory, and we're gonna come after you guys. You don't even know what's in the warrant. How are you so incredibly sure that this was a political hit job? You haven't seen one piece of evidence yet.
Because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter.
Support Trump no matter what.
Look, honestly, I'm tired of saying it. The right wing, they're all liars. They all lie 100% on purpose. So who's the head of the FBI? Do you want to know who it is? Chris Wray. Now, do you want to know who appointed Chris Wray? Donald Trump.
You want to know who confirmed Chris Wray? Every single Republican senator who voted. Every single one who voted. There were 3 Republican senators who didn't vote for whatever reason, but all of the other Republican senators who did vote voted to confirm him as FBI director.
Every right-wing host is lying to their audience today and saying that Joe Biden's FBI is targeting our beloved Donald Trump for no reason at all. It's, what do you mean Biden's FBI? Trump appointed the guy. He's a right-winger that Trump appointed. But evidence doesn't matter, facts don't matter to these guys. So,
can I just jump in one more thing? Chris Wray literally just testified about the sham investigation he conducted into Brett Kavanaugh and the sexual misconduct allegations against him, completely taking orders from Donald Trump in regard to how that investigation was conducted. So, I mean, really, this is an FBI that's politically motivated against Donald Trump?
I mean, they've literally admitted that they rigged an investigation on behalf of Donald Trump.
Yes.
But no, did anyone in right-wing media hear that? The listeners? No, because they're lied to professionally every single day. So instead what they heard was Steve Bannon saying, quote, we're at war. He went on to say, without evidence of course, that Biden's chief of staff Ron Klain approved the raid. Just made that up, just made it up. Who cares? We're just making stuff up. Because you know why Steve Bannon Steve Bannon then went on to say that the FBI might be trying to assassinate Donald Trump. Hoo-hoo, right? But do you think Steve Bannon's that crazy? No, Steve Bannon is relatively smart, especially for a right winger. I mean, I know it's a low bar, right? But he's purposely lying to his audience to get them riled up so that they'll commit violence against you. He doesn't think they're gonna try to assassinate Donald Trump. He knows that's a lunatic conspiracy theory. He's just putting it out there so he'll rile, he knows how stupid, deranged, and violent his audience is. So he just has to get him going. He said the FBI is the Gestapo. He said, quote, we need to choke down the FBI and choke down the Justice Department. Those are his words. Bernie Kerik, another one of Rudy Giuliani's goons who went to prison for being a crook and a criminal and corrupt. He's out there going, oh no, it's an assassination plot.
Can I actually go to the last video in this segment, the one with Mitch McConnell? Because Mitch McConnell is the only Republican who has had a unique response to this news of a raid in Mar-a-Lago that I was amused by. So let's take a quick look at that.
What is your reaction to the FBI raid yesterday at Mar-a-Lago?
I'm here today to talk about the flood and the recovery from the flood.
That was fascinating. Just slap down that question. He's like, I'm not gonna weigh in on this.
Look, if I was him, I'd do the same thing because you don't know what's in the warrant. You don't even know, we don't know one single thing. By the way, if you're a Democrat or progressive or you're on the left and you're like, oh, we got him.
No, we don't know. I mean,
how would you know that? Like, raiding a former president's house is very serious, so you can assume that it's about a very serious matter and it's unprecedented, but you don't know if they even found the evidence they were looking for, right? So just jumping to these conclusions as usual is crazy, but I want to, speaking of crazy, last thing, I want to read you Steven Crowder's other comments because this is important because it portends what is going to happen if they regain office. He said, if a Republican gets in, investigate everybody, raid everybody, use all of it. I don't care if we become Nicaragua at this point. You've already rung the bell. You can't unring it, Buttercup. Okay, so
okay, raid everyone, great.
No, but they're gonna do it anyway.
Exactly.
So what they're doing is they're like, I can't believe you're holding one of our elites accountable and you believe in the rule of law. So if we get in office, we're gonna destroy the rule of law and we're gonna investigate you guys. And I'm telling you ahead of time, based on nothing, we're gonna make it up. Okay. And we don't care if we're in Nicaragua.
But you can't do a raid just because you want to retaliate as a result of Trump being raided. A federal judge has to sign off on that raid.
Unless Anna,
unless they have a bunch of their
own. You become the Gestapo.
Yeah.
So they're like, can you believe they're doing it the right and proper and legal way? When we get in office, we're gonna be the Gestapo. I mean, they're the Gestapo. Wink, wink, wink. Now, guys, if they get back into office, they're gonna indiscriminately raid and arrest their political opponents. It's not at all hyperbole. They're telling you ahead of time. They're telling you today, turn in any right-wing media. We have dozens of these quotes. We would take up the whole show. Turn into any one of them and you'll hear them say, it's time for war, violence. And once we get into office, that's it, they're screwed. We're gonna dismantle every part of government. We're gonna arrest these FBI agents. We're gonna arrest everyone and just put in our own thugs and scam artists. So good luck to us. By the way, after all this, currently Trump leads in the presidential race. Wish us luck.